Hey guys, happy Saturday. Thanks so much for joining. I'm a smidge early, so I'm going to give everyone just a second to jump on, but I was ready to go and I could see you guys commenting, so I just hit the button. And so thank you so much for joining. I have a bunch of stuff on my mat, so it's a bit of like, there's a lot of things, but today we're making the Hearthside multi-strand button bracelet. And I'm using beads that I got from Country Cottage, which is the November 2025 Sam's bead box. And it's really, really cool. It has a very cool, just like feeling of country, rustic, that, woodsy cottage feeling. It's going to be kind of like a perfect Thanksgiving slash Christmas, like slash holiday season. It has that warm fire glow feeling to it. So I hope you guys love it. I had a really fun time creating this box. It has lots of surprises in it, like little pops and special things. And I feel like I'm just getting started because there's so many things that I still want to do with the box. And luckily I got more than one, so I can create many more things. But if you didn't already catch the unboxing, we did an unboxing yesterday on Sam's Bead Shop YouTube channel. That is now available to watch as a replay. And so if you want to catch that one, I do have links in the description that will take you to a page where everything is there all together. So you can find the unboxing, you can find this class's PDF, and everything new coming up. We're going to have a class next week. All of that's going to be there. So if you want to just go and check that description, and I'll drop that link a couple times also here in the chat, just as we're getting started. And it has currently on it links to yesterday's live and links to today. And so here also has images of all of the designs so far. So there's a lot of designs that I made already. And there's a new one that isn't on the site yet that I just made yesterday, but it was shown in the unboxing. But I'm going to be perfecting it to turn it into a little owl. I'll hold that one up really quick just to show you. As we're getting going here. So this one was a pendant necklace that I was creating, and we decided it needs a little bit of like some eyes. So I'm going to write up the pattern to make sure he has a little pair of eyes around. So everyone saw owl when they looked at this. So that's one that you won't see on the site yet, but it'll be there soon. I'm working on it as we speak. I spent a little bit of time on it today, and I think I know how I want to teach it. So I'll have that all figured out. That'll be one of the upcoming. And then I might make some more things. The class we have with Sam's Bead Shop this week, I'm going to do something more wire focused. So stay tuned on that. Oh, thank you so much. It does kind of look like an owl, doesn't it? I was really like, when I first made it, I was feeling like making a heart shape. But that heart shape, once I put the pine cones under it, looked like it had like a fluffy belly. So it did. It turned into an owl. And then the bellflower gave it like a tail appearance. So accidental, but love, right? And then also in the unboxing yesterday, just to recap, we showed a very quick demo of how to do a bail. And so this was the bail we demoed. I'm sorry, I think I have this backwards. I'm trying to make it so I can hold it up for you guys. Oh, I see. Hang on. My beading wire's not aligned there. Okay. There it goes, I think. My hold up and display abilities are not like totally there. I'll show you on the mat, but it was a really fun way to do just a little bail for a front drilled gemstone pendant. It's literally like a few seconds to demo that we did yesterday. And then we have this cutie, which is like a little foxglove looking bellflower design. This is kind of a classic. I just liked, charm bracelet look. Wanted to do something like that. And then yesterday during the unboxing, we demoed a pair of gorgeous earrings. And you guys voted on the one that has a little bead at the top. I need to put ear wires on it still. And last but not least, I just had some beaded chain. So if you're just ever stuck on like, hey, I don't know what to do with something, beaded chain, that's the way to go. So it looks like we're getting up there in our numbers. So I think it's probably good to start the demo for today's bracelet. Oh, thanks so much, you guys. I'm so happy you like it. So today's design is here. And it uses the button from the box. It uses our sweet owl, uses one of the hand-carved jasper flowers, uses a lot of seed beads, and almost every bead from the box makes an appearance, all the small ones anyway. So this is made in several steps. And there is a PDF that shows all of them. You start by making a little beaded section, and then it moves along into some stringing. And there's a little method to the madness when it comes to the stringing that will make it easier for you to keep track of, get those links to match. And once you got that strung, then there's a zipper part. So it's actually worked as a flat piece first, and I'll show you that as we're going. And then you create kind of like a tube shape. And then after you've got the tube shape, we're just going to pull out some beading wire right at the end and create one more bracelet that's going to run right through the center. So there you go. And this technique will work with lots of beads. If you have a bunch of gems and some seed beads laying around, this is going to work with lots of your stuff. So I'm going to switch my camera so I can show you a little more detail. And let's get my lights over here so we can see just a little better. Yeah, there we go. All right, so here's the finished bracelet, all laid out. And you end up with a very full look. It looks really cool when you're wearing it. And it's just one of those bauble pieces that you can kind of play with a lot. And you can always make it your own by changing the structure and just really anything here that you want to make your own by changing the counts or the colors, all of that. I say go for it. He's so cute. I love this little owl. He's so adorable. That's one of my favorite little features of the box. I think when we were doing the designing, this was the first thing I picked up, like from the Excel sheet. I was like, oh, that one. Thanks, guys. And the seed bead mix is a custom Sam's Bead Shop seed bead mix designed specifically for this box, with all of the colors really thoroughly, like thoughtfully planned out so that they would look really good. So where we're going with this, the design. It starts with a wingspan of thread. That wingspan is going to get consumed creating those beautiful strands. And we're going to make this piece 2 times. So I made one already, and we're going to make a second one together so you can see step by step how to make this. It's really easy, fast, 2-drop peyote, even count. From there, you'll line them up and you'll start stringing bead strands. And we'll do that together, the first couple of strands here. And then I have one ready to go. This is where you kind of end up after you've done all of your stringing. And then the magic here is we'll zipper stitch it together. We'll just take these 2 ends, and the way that that pattern is written, you end up with kind of like when you're making a ring, a peyote stitch ring. And there's your bracelet. Then we take that beading wire and we string a new design right through the center. So all together, it's a lot of steps that are going to add up to quite a bit of time. So I'm just going to dive in with step 1. So all you need right now is some thread and your seed bead mix. And we're going to create this little section. So I'm going to set that one aside, get a new needle. You're going to want to start with about a wingspan of thread. Wingspans are like 65 inches or so. And you'll use the wingspan on both of these sections. Yeah, you can totally, I'm going to put this comment up really quick. Yes, you can leave it flat, and that's gorgeous. Something I've done a lot is I create things like this with herringbone stitch, but with the peyote, you have the opportunity to zipper it up. So both options are really cool. And so, yeah, like I was saying, you will consume most of this length. And in the handout, I mentioned using 6-pound Fireline. That is what I used on the original, but I used crystal. And it might be a little hard to see against my white background. So I'm working with a darker color thread just so you guys can see what I'm doing today. All right, so the pattern here, you just want to start by stringing the first beads, which is these 8 beads here, in the bright yellow. And then there's 2 of the brick red and 2 of the green. And actually, it doesn't matter if you want to work from left to right or right to left. It will all work out for you. And here's our 2 green. So there's those first 8 beads. I just want to string those Bring them down, leave about a 10-inch tail. That tail is going to be used for our zippering. You'll want to have one on both sides or both pieces. And then, so we strung all these. Now we're going to pick up 2 red, go through red. Then we'll pick up 2 with the bright yellow and go through the yellow. So you want to skip the green and go through the red. And right here, you can pull your working and tail thread apart. And it'll make those kind of pop into place like that. And then we just need those 2 yellow. We'll skip 2, go through 2. So you want to skip the 2 red ones and go through the last 2 beads there. And it might spin on you a little bit, but don't worry, we're going to keep an eye on that as we get going. I think it was supposed to go in that direction over there. But basically what you'll have is something that looks like that. And you can see the stripes are starting to form. And like I was saying, if it spins on you, don't worry. We're just going to focus on what bead color we go through for the next row. And after that, it'll all settle out. Oh, thanks, Sakaya. Thanks, you guys. Oh, hey, Leslie. All right, and so currently we're here. We're exiting from, and I'll flip it. I guess you could flip it. So I kind of tend to work the other direction. Maybe I should have started on that side, but just going with what I have illustrated here. We're going to pick up the other yellow. There's 2 yellows in this mix. One of them has it's like a lined alabaster, and then the other one's more of a hawthorn. And so that's represented by the lighter yellow here. So we're going to pick that up. It's these 2 here. It's the opaque one. And it actually doesn't matter which yellow you go with in which order. It's still going to work out. And so we're going to go through the yellow that's there. Those 2 yellows that are poking up. And now I'm going to pick up 2 shiny yellow. Those are the next in that row. And go through the 2 red ones. And you'll know you're getting it because you'll get this little stair-stepping look. That looks just like that. And just keeping everything tight, I'm going to pick up the next color, which is 2 more of the shiny. Just referring to that pattern here on my left. And I'm going to go back through the last 2 I just added. Hey, Sandra, thank you. And then from here on, it's kind of intuitive. Like I glance at the pattern here and there, but it's just pick up the color you're going into when you're going up the stairs. We were doing something similar the other day on Silkies where we were going up and down the stairs with a peyote pattern that was kind of similar. So you can see right now we're going up. The stripes are heading that way. And the next color we want to pick up is Opaque Picasso Black. And now we're headed down. And so since we're headed down, I'm going to string the color I'm exiting from, which are these 2 opaque yellows. And we'll just go through those next beads there. So just like that. So let's just work the whole pattern together. It won't take long. It's only 10 beads, per side here. So like 20 rows in total. See, heading up the stairs, we're going to pick up the color we're headed into. And the only time I ever really need to look at the pattern is just to see which one goes next here. And for us, that next one is going to be green. So we'll pick up the green. And go down through these. Headed downstairs now. So we're going to pick up the color we're exiting, which is our opaque black Picasso. And there we go. Now picking up the one I'm heading into because we're headed back up. And again, picking up the color I'm headed into. which is our green. So I'm just going to speed up just a little bit because I think we've got it. But if this is something new, this will be available as a replay. And I also have some other content on peyote just by itself too, if peyote is new. Here's the color we're headed into. We're more than halfway done. And now we're back to picking up bright yellow. Oh, thanks, Holly. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the unboxing. Yeah, this box, it came out so nice. I was really excited. I got to see it a little bit earlier, and so I was like having trouble keeping quiet. I was good though, but I was so excited. Couldn't wait for you guys to get yours. I mean, the Sam's Bead box are always good. It's always incredible. Like opening it feels like Christmas every day. Every time I get the box, I'm just like, yes, I want to look at it. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I want to enjoy it. So I don't just open it always like right away when I first get it. Sometimes I open it later when it's quiet and I can really like focus when I don't have like lots of people around, or, you know, I wait till everybody's gone to sleep and I'm like, okay, it's box time. I open the box and I wanted to have a moment to actually see, you know, the contents and get excited about it. Angie says, me too. Yeah, that's like, it's something that I do. It's a little treat for me. All right, let's see how far I'm getting. You'll know you're getting close to being complete with your design when you have 10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 2 more to go. And so here's 2 green. And here's 2 opaque. And 2 opaque again because we're heading up. 2 green. All right, so I'm just going to lay this the way it is in the picture, making sure I got to do 1 more row. So here's the red. And then I just need 2 more green. And I think that is it. So let's just make sure I've got it. Look at our pattern here. Tail side, gold, ending with a red. And I should have 10 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same across the top, starting with opaque black and ending with green. And just right here, what you'll notice is that these zippers stitch together. See how they automatically are going to line up like that? And the row pattern is continuous with this count. Oh, Lisa, yeah. Yeah, things are happening. Leslie, I love that comment. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. I just wait till later because then I can really enjoy opening my box without like having to like go do something else in the middle of it. I'm like, hang on, I'm trying to focus here. So yeah, that is all you have to do for this step 1. So the next part is really easy. We're gonna line these up. And first thing I want to note is tail side out. So the tail side is your 10-inch tail side. And just go ahead and whichever one you want to be the top, have that tail side be headed out. And then take the tail side of the bottom half and make that one going the other direction. So you'll have a tail here and a tail here. And then line those up so that they match. So I'm going to need to flip one of these so that their colors are lined up together. So I've got basically green heading into green. And over here, I've got my opaque black heading into opaque black. So that's all you got to do there, just to line those up. And it looks like in my illustration, I have them going that way, but here on my mat, I have them flipped. I can flip it so they match the illustration. Just as long as relative to each other, they are correct. You'll have it. Sorry about that. I've got a cord stuck there under my mat. One thing about this is it's going to get a little tangly. So something you can do, you're not going to need to immediately work with the long strand on one of these sides. So something you can do is you can take and coil one of them around one of those like cards. I don't know if I have. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so you can, if you have one of these like kind of like wrap cards, take the long end on one side and just coil it around and set it aside if it's getting in your way. And here we go. Line these up again. Green going into green. And so I'm going to start working with this strand at the bottom. You're going to run out. So basically, here's what's going to happen. Let me show you the other one. You're probably going to get 3 strands done, and then your strand is going to start getting really short. So at that point, you'll weave in and then take the long strand left from the first or the other section and use it to create the other 3. That way you don't have to add thread. So I probably won't be able to get that far here, but I want to show you stringing because it makes sense. But what you can do with the side you're not working first, because they're going to be, most likely your working thread's going to be exiting on the same side, and you're really going to want one of those kind of over here to use later. Go ahead and weave it over there now and get it out of the way. And then, of course, put it on that card if you want. And what I'm going to do is just head up the mountain. So up, and then up. And then for now, I'm going to poke that into the mat. Wait, I didn't hit the button there. Okay, yeah. So poke those into the mat up here. And now it's out of the way. You don't have another cord hanging out here to get in your way. This cord is going to be the one we're going to work with. And in fact, yeah, that's a good side to have it on. So bead time, bead time. Let's get out our beads. I used a lot of them. So I'm going to bring this one over. I used the little nuggets. I used the gemstone faceted rounds, the melons, the fire polish, and I used the quartz. And I used these awesome Picasso little kind of fluted bicones. What are these called again? I forgot the name of these, but those are all the beads I used. And they're spaced by seed bead. So just starting with some of these, let's grab some. I'm going to make kind of like a little abbreviated version so you can see it come together. Morphing, thanks. Yeah, I'm lazy about adding threads, so anytime I can save doing that, I'm game for that. So there's some of those melons, quartz, fire polish. I could use a few more of these nuggets. Let's get some more of those. We still need our seed beads. Keep those out. And then this beautiful trio is from that strand, the custom strand. And for those, I'm just going to get a few of those out. Did I miss any? Yeah, that's all we need for now. So mainly just those. And then here, this is where you can just get creative. The only thing I would suggest is definitely you're going to want to start with 2 seed beads before you begin your strand, because these strands are going to be, once they have beads on them, I'll show you really quick again. Once they have beads on them, they're going to be a little bit wider than the piece we're coming out of. So if you string 2 seed beads, it's going to give them the ability to fan out. And you'll notice that more prominently when it's put in the tube configuration. So see, they're really fanning out here. And so I'm going to have the first 2 beads go on there. And you could always do even more than that if you wanted to. You could do 2, you could do 4. Oh, I've got a knot. Oh, no. Let me see if I can fix that really quick. Sorry about that. The good news is it's a fixable knot. Okay. So 2 beads, and now fun time. So any 3, pick any 3 beads you want. I think I'm going to go with a melon bead, cool fire polish, and the faceted round. Then pick up a seed bead. And if you want to match the color you're exiting, you can, but you can always just go random here for the color seed bead you choose. And then I'm going to choose 3 beads I haven't used yet. So let's go for 1, 2, let's go with one of those. Oh, I forgot, where are my little silk ones? Let me get a few more of those out. Here they are. Sorry, I forgot to show those. Seed bead and silk. Let's go back to another fire polish, and this time let's do a nugget and seed bead. So take that to desired length. In the handout, I recommended a length for you. So in this case, I think it was, did I say 5 inches? 5.5? Oh, yeah, at least 5 inches long, and mine ended up being about that long. So they have, if you want to count them out as like repeats of 3, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Probably easier to see that flat. See the sections 1, and then a seed bead, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 of those is going to give you a length of, and I'm going to count those 2 seed beads start in that length. It's going to give you a little over 5 and a little over 5.5. So from here to here. And then when you add it all together with, keep in mind when it's all ready to go put together, it's going to be like this. So it's going to lose some of its length. This one is, it's bunching more because it's stopped by the large beads. We'll talk about that, but it's got to be able to kind of overlap on itself. So give it a little extra length, just knowing that the way we do the beading wire at the end is going to give it an extra 2.5 inches or so. Because it's so bulky, it actually helps to have it be a little longer. Just, also have to think about why you're stitching this up. Okay, so for this demo, because this part does take a while, I'm just going to do, let's make it like short by half. We'll just go with 4. So here's 1, 2, 3. And here's number 4. We use this one yet? Let's go with this one. Hey, thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Kaylee. And there's a hole in this one somewhere. Let's see. And on the faceted rounds, I can't really find them. Let's do green and quartz bead. Okay. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, and then here at the end, I'm going to add 2 more seed beads. So when you get to the end of your strand, you'll just want to finish with 2. I think that's a 15 there. There we go. So 2 more. And then head through the matching column here. I'm just going to go through this one. And just pretend we did 8 of those instead of just the 4. From here, you're just going to make a turn. Just kind of like you're doing fringe, right? Make a turn and head down through the adjacent column there. Tighten that up. And now you're going to pick up 2 more seed beads in the color you're exiting. So for me, that's this yellow. And we'll slide those down and go back through all of the beads you have here. So each of these has 2 strands running through it because the beads tend to be about as wide as 2 columns of my beadwork. It's a little wider actually, but and just the symmetry works out like that really nicely. So it's going to look like that for you. So you're going to have 2 strands running through every single one of these. And try not to miss any beads, but go ahead and go through all of that. Almost got it. One thing about having them all be just slightly different in shape is kind of a little trickier to weave through them. All right, so on this side, when you go through the last 2 seed beads of your strand, continue through 2 more in your base bead work. Sometimes I call things like this, when they're being used like that, I'll refer to them as your base bead work. And so that way you can just kind of keep it separate from the strand you're creating. And same thing here. Make a turn. And then you just pick up 2 more. And head through the strand again. So now you see how it really can consume that length up a lot. Oh, actually, guys, I'm sorry. Just looking at my illustration, and I realized I steered you wrong on something. Let me back out this strand really quick. So I'm going through it a 3rd time. You don't have to do that. You'll run out of thread if you do that. That's how I did it the first time, and I forgot. I found a smarter way. So let's bring this one out. Okay, let me go back and explain a little better. I need to bring this strand out from here. And then I'll show you in the handout where I wrote that down. Okay, so we strung the strand, right? Strung all the way, made our turn up here, added the 2 more beads, went back through everything. Here, step out after the last bead and then add the last 2. And that'll save you a trip back through the beads. On my first one, I did go through it a bunch of times. I ended up having to add thread. And I think it's kind of overkill if you're using the fire line. You don't need 3 passes. I mean, you could, but you kind of don't need it. So that's a huge time saver if we just do this. Sometimes I make something once and then the efficiency happens later, but then when I make it on air, I start defaulting to what I did before. So, okay, so here's what we do. You're going to exit out of that last bead and then string your 2 beads and then connect through here. This will totally make sense when you're creating it. You're like, oh yeah, that's way better. Now you have those 2 passes and it matches what we've got up here. And don't worry if everything's going all crazy and it's flipping everywhere. You're going to have this kind of wonky looking thing for a little bit. How are we doing on time? We're doing good on time. I can show you 1 more row, especially since I watched the end of that one. So let me show you starting the next one. So we'll turn, we'll go through the next set here. And I'm going to string 2 seed beads as I exit that one. And then 3 interest beads. And here's here's something I wanted to share. So this is good. If you want to make sure that your lengths are all identical, but you don't want to put the same design, next to like the same beads next to each other. And also because sometimes it's nice if there's a big bead, if there's a little bead next to it in the next strand. Something I did for that was I just used this as my little bead legend. And I make sure that I use the same beads in this strand that were used in this one. Now there's different colors to pick from, so it's not going to look the same. You're going to have lots of like variation and variety. Let me get some more colors out here. There's some really bright pops of red. But so for example, let's like take these 2 right here. You can flip them and go quartz, nugget, faceted round for the first section. And then for this section, you can go melon, fire polish, faceted. Or you could do something like this. You can start with the quartz, but use a different color. String that. And then go for the melon. And then go for the fire polish round and try to choose a different color. So now you've got that same height. Add your seed bead. So it just depends on how much variation you want to give it. If you really want them to be super, super different, then you can start flipping segments. But when I'm done with this strand, it'll have all the same counts of each bead type. So here we've got another one of these. So I'm matching that one. And then let's put the quartz bead on. And a nugget. And another seed bead. So let's try another one. For these two, let's do a flip. So now I'm going to copy for this section, that section, but I'm going to flip it. And so let's put on one of these gorgeous, oh my gosh, look at the color in that. Can you guys see I'm getting distracted by the beauty of the beads. Okay, so that's the quartz bead. And then let's do a round. Let's do a different color. And then we'll do a nugget. Try for a gold nugget. There we go. And seed bead. This part is really fun. And so since I copied this one here, I'm going to copy this one here. So, but I'm going to flip it again. So let's go for a nugget. I haven't used green yet. Let's use green. So nugget, one of these. And how about a fire polish now? And make sure I don't use that color. Let's use a different color. How about that one? Okay. So see, now that's going to be exactly the same length. Ending with 2 seed beads. And let's go through. So if you just carry on like that, creating the next 3, it has a total of 5. You'll get it perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and show the back pass now so you can see it correctly this time. Making that turn. And then I'm going to string 2 red. And here's our strengthened pass that goes all through these beads. Making sure that tightens up well. There we go. So it should look like that. I think this piece is a little bit meditative, but it's not like heavy focus, like pattern reading meditative. So it's going to be like the good kind of meditative, not the kind that's like, I got to use a ruler and track it like really, really intensely. You're just going to be able to kind of mellow through it. Okay, here's where I messed up last time. You don't want to go through all this. Just go through the last bead, the last gemstone bead or check glass bead. And get yourself exiting right from underneath that bead. And then you'll pick up 2 more seed beads and go through the column. And that matches it there. That'll save you loads of time. So from here, just super easy, just carry on. Just want to come up and go through. And then you want to create 3 more just like that. You're going to run out probably, keep in mind I'm doing short lengths, but you're probably going to run out of thread after this one. So you're going to create for every 2. Think of it like a herringbone kind of. There's 2 and 2 and 2. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in total. All right, so let's cooking show style. Oh, did I miss something in the chat, guys? I'm sorry, Kelly. I didn't see what the original text was about, but my condolences as well. I hope everything's okay. And sorry, guys, I'm just moving this so that I don't lose all those beads on the ground over there. All right, here we go. So 2, 3, 4, 5 strands. All set there. And we're going to zipper stitch. So I'm going to get another needle out. We're going to need to do this on both sides, top and bottom. And needle threading day. Okay. So this part's really quick and easy. The only thing to watch out for, and let me show you on the actual handout. When we do the zipper stitch part, we want to just zipper the peyote part, not the two beads that lead and end our strands. So I showed in the illustration, they're gapped there. So you basically just want to focus on not, when you do the zipper, just use that part, ignoring those two, and on both sides. And how that looks here is like that. So we're just going to be zipper stitching it together into a tube. Aw, Kelly, I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, oh my goodness. I'm happy you're here. Oh, thanks, Liz. And so this is the part that it's not tricky. It's just something you'll want to look at. So we're exiting currently from this side. So we're going to go through down through the one over here. So you're kind of making like a little unicorn jump there, or rainbow jump, sorry. And when you pull tight, it'll bring those together, and you'll notice it connects you kind of like the stair stepper to that green one. And I need to do this twice, so don't worry. We're going to see it twice. So we'll go through the green one now. Then you need to come back over and go through the red. And that's linking. And then come over here and go through the red here. And it'll link those together. So if you flatten it out, see what we've done is we've combined those together and they line up like the staircases. So pretty cool. You're going to want to reinforce that connection there that we just made. So with our thread exiting from that stack of 2 red, just go through the adjacent gold beads here. And what that's going to do is it's going to lock everything together. Sorry, let me just pick that. And from here, it probably will be hard to tell where your zipper is. That's okay. If you've got that nice and connected, you can just start weaving in. And make a turn. And so on, just like that. I'm going to do one more turn. And then I can weave in after this one. With this zipper stitch, don't be afraid to weave in kind of a lot. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to trim that. And I have a thread burner. You can use flush cutters, thread burner, whatever you like to do for trimming your thread. Just going to remove that. Keep that needle. That's a good one. All right. So check it out. There's a little bit kind of like a little bit like the lariat design I was doing the other day with Nile. It's kind of similar in construction to that, actually. But so many things you can do with peyote stitch. Honestly, it's like the most versatile stitch out there. I'm going to repeat that again. let's see. The one thing I would note is just note that there's going to be sides you want to bring together. You have the potential to kind of twist them. So just make sure you're folding the two sides together. You'll be able to tell because your beads will lay flat like this. And then you just fold it over. Now, if you want to twist them, that could be a design choice. So it's actually okay to do that too. But I didn't twist mine because it would have taken away from the length that I had. And I had already used so much beads. I was like afraid I was going to use the whole box on my one bracelet. So here we're just zipper stitching back and forth. There we go. And the one illustrated, guys, is the one I'm currently working on. On your bottom half, you may have different colors because keep in mind it's flipped on the bottom. So I just wanted to note that. But the one I'm working now is one that matches the illustration in color. And check it out. It just disappears. That's the cool thing about zipper stitch is it actually just vanishes. There you go. Oh, thanks, Anne Marie. Or is it's Anna Marie, sorry. And sorry if I miss anything in the chat, I'm going to look up every so often, but I'll go back over it and try to answer any questions that I missed after the live. And here's just weaving in. I'm going to do that kind of quick since we saw that already. I want to make sure I'm leaving lots of time to show you the beading wire step. So working start to finish on a full-length bracelet, it'll probably take a good couple hours, but it's a weekend project, even a day project if you want to work on it all in one swoop. We'll trim that, and there you go. So that's pretty much it. That's all you got to do. You've got this cool looking tube, and this has a lot of possibilities in addition to the way we're going to use it now. There is the possibility of putting it on leather, like thick leather. You know how they make that really kind of like large cord leather, like it's 3-4 millimeter size, I think it is. You can put leather through something like this and connect it very similarly to how we've worked on the current one that we're doing. But I wanted to make mine even more beady goodness, so I used some fine. You could use medium, but fine, I'll go through those 11 SE beads a little easier. And then you can either work from the spool, which is what I did, or you can just measure out and make sure you give yourself extra because we need to create a button loop. So the button loop is going to consume some length. And then, of course, your owl and your jasper. And we're also going to have two beads that are going to be kind of like, they're going to stop the beadwork from being able to sink any deeper into it, which is good because it's not going to be able to come out and overhang your button. And then on the inside, similarly, a large bead will keep it from sliding down so that, it would be bunched all up in the center. So a large bead on the top and the bottom of these tubes is the secret sauce to keeping it like together inside. So I'm going to just show you what I did for this one. We're going to start with I'm going to grab a crimp really quick. So I've just got some regular, these are 2x2 crimps, 2 millimeter crimps. And I need to get my crimping pliers really quick. And on my design, guys, I did use some crimp covers. I'm going to skip that for the demo, but if you want to use a crimp cover over your crimps, go for it. It kind of makes it look more like a bead. So here we've cut a length of beading wire. And so I'm going to first slide on a crimp bead. Okay. And then I need a gemstone bead. And it's going to be one large followed by one small. So let's go with one of our quartz, which is considered the large. And then for my small, I'm going to use one of the faceted rounds. Oh, and I need my button now. Let's get that button. You get a lot of buttons in this box. Isn't that cool? Let's use this one. Okay, so we'll go through the button. And then let's get 3 seed beads. There's 1 and 2 and 3. And then I'm going to go back through. And there we go. And I'm still on the spool right now. But if you cut this free earlier, maybe just be careful the lengthy waist here. You know what I mean? Like you can waste less, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the gemstone because we're just going to be trimming the tail here. And the next gemstone. And then the crimp bead. So we're just bringing the tail through those beads. Okay, this is our chance to adjust up here. Make sure you're happy with your button, happy with how all of this looks. It's okay to give it a little bit of air. And then let's crimp. There we go. I'm really slow with my crimping because crimping is forever. All right. So I'm going to just trim a little bit of that. And so you can either like put a crimp cover on that now or do that later. But we are going to need to trim it free from the spool now. So I'm just doing that here. Camera, spool's free. And it's fun stringing time. So first you're going to want to pass the wire. Or actually, before we put it through here, I think what I did is I strung 2 small gemstones. I'm just reading here on my own PDF. I'm going to just get 2 small gems. Let me go with some of the yellow ones, actually. I think I have a little bit more of those left. So these 2 small gems are going to be hidden inside the tube. You might get a glimpse of them as you're working, but if you want to use your least favorite ones for that spot, I don't have a least favorite, I love them all, but okay. So once you've got those 2 gemstone beads, string 2 seed beads. So you'll have something that looks like that. And now I'm excited part to do. So just bring your beading wire through the tube on one side and pull all of that through. And again, those gemstones are probably going to move right inside the tube. And if they don't do it right away, they will eventually. But what's going to happen is it's going to kind of look like that for you. And from here, let's just string a design. And so I would recommend copying what you have, just like we did before. Let's bring this over really quick. I'm going to trade mats. And apologies, guys. This one might go a little over, so it's a lot of stuff to show you. But let's have this one go here. Get these guys back. Okay. Really glad I have 2 mats. There we go. Okay, so let's string. I'm going to do kind of like the same thing we did here. Let's do a copy of what's here. So let's go melon bead. And then there is a fire polish and a small round. I'm not going to worry about my seed bead color. I'm just going to pick up a seed bead. Okay, and then let's do one of these gorgeous ones. A quartz. And another small round. Seed bead. And this is the spot where you might get excited and forget your seed bead. This always happens to me. Here's one of these 3. So yeah, and the one you're copying, just kind of pull it aside so you don't forget which one it is. So let's go with one of these. Whoop. One of those. And a nugget. and a seed bead. And then how are we doing? Let's do these 3 here. So we'll go with one of these. One of the quartz. And fire polish bead. And a seed bead. Now I'm copying this one now. So let's go with one of those. And it looks like I'm out of melons. Do I have more melons? I do. Here we go. More of those. And then a small one. Aw, thank you so much, Zach. And so, Bonnie, we did get those 2 beads on there. Let me show them to you really quick. I'll slide this down. And don't worry, it's written in the handout too. So, but what's hidden in that tube are 2 of the gemstone beads. And then here's how the strand is starting. There's the 2 seed beads. So it really does line up in length because those 2 gemstone beads, I kind of calced it out. They're exactly the height of that beadwork. You see it hiding in there? You see that other second little gemstone? It ends up being like exactly that height. So the seed beads give you the perfect match length for what's happening here. So how many did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. Let's go seed bead. And oh, I was going with this one. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's number 6. Let's go with a round and a nugget and a round and a seed bead. Oh, it was this one. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Almost there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 2 more. So there's this one. This part's not hard. It just takes a little bit of concentration. But you will get it. We only have 1 more to go. And I'll go with one of these. One of the rounds. And then let's do a nugget. Okay. So 2 seed beads more. Let's get those 2 seed beads going. And so far, let me just bring the handout over and show you what we've done. We did all that. So here we are. As we approach the length needed to enter the tube on the other side, we're going to string 2 more seed beads to finish off our strand. Then we need 2 more small gemstones. And then we're going to go through the tube. Okay. Thank you yesterday, Danielle, for the notes. Very handy. Actually, hang on. Where are my other... How am I doing on counts? Yeah, I have a good amount of those. It's okay to use those. Okay. And let's go through the tube. All right. And so this will start to slide all the way down. And see, we don't want it to do that. So we're going to pop a gemstone right on top. So it should stay pretty locked there. All right, and so now 1 larger gemstone, we have that there. And okay, so this is where we're going to be doing 1/2 inch of seed beads. So the owl, let's get our owl out. The owl is a very large hole bead. So you're going to want to fill it with seed beads. So I'm going to just fill it up. It's only going to take me a second. About 1/2 inch to do it. But you can always just put the owl on and then look at it and decide, oh, that's great, if it works or not. That might be it. Let's look. Yeah, okay. 1 more, I think we've got it. You'll know because your owl will touch the top of your gemstone. You'll have a little seed bead poking up there. We need a jasper flower. Oh, I might have to grab it out of my other box. You guys get to see the box open up. I made earrings on our live yesterday, so I think I'm into a new one. Let's go. I've used a couple of things out of this. So far, I've used seed beads and all of the bracelet beads. All right, let's grab one of these. Oh, that one's pretty. Okay. So the way that I strung this, hindsight being 2020, you may enjoy having another seed bead. So do you see that gap? On my original, which is cute, I'm not worried about it, like not enough to remake it, but do you see this gap right here? It ends up kind of doing that. I thought we can put a couple more. So before you put on your flower, maybe like 2 more. And the flower has a side that's flush and a side that I preferred having the flush side be the side that my crimp is going to go. And yes, I have made a design with the pink flowers. You'll want to check out the unboxing. But the things that I've made so far is I've made this cute pair of earrings that I'm actually wearing right now. And I'll show you at the end of our tutorial a couple others. But let's look at this really quick. You know what? Let's take one off. This is just a suggestion. It's not required, but I think kind of helpful, you know? Yeah, what do you think of that? So up to you if you want it to have seed beads there or not. All right, so we need a crimp tube. Did I bring my crimp over from my other mat? Did I give myself 2? Thought I did, but let's find out. I did. Woohoo. Okay. So we're going to want to put our crimp bead on. And I found that the perfect number of seed beads for this button was 32. So let's just quickly string 32. And apologies, guys, it's going to be a little minute with me stringing. Do it in groups of 5 so you don't lose count. So there's our 5. And 5, there's 10. There's 15 and 16. And there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. So about 16, test it also if you want to. Make sure it's like exactly if you want it. If you have enough beading wire, bring it through the flower. So you can kind of pinch the beading wire like that and test your button. I think that's good. You could even go with 30 if you want a really tight connection there. Yes, soft flex beading wire. I used fine, or sorry, here it is. I used this one. The reason I used fine is because of the 11-0 seed beads. You can get 11-0 seed beads on medium, but you have to think harder getting it on there. And the other thing is, if you want to pass back through a seed bead, it won't be possible with the medium. But for example, with this one, if I wanted to go through those 2 seed beads, I could. And in this case, I didn't have to go back through any 11-0s, but you can with fine and you can't with medium. So that's just something to think about. But I do think medium, it's possible to make this design, no problem. All right, so crimping here. And crimp there. And we'll trim it. Okay. That's all there is to it. I did get a little artsy and I put crimp covers in 2 positions on this design. How are we doing on time? We're a little over, but I'll show you on the finished one. I just covered that crimp with the crimp cover because sometimes that can make it just look like another bead. And that's here on the starting side as well. There's my crimp cover. without the crimp cover, it's still cute. You're just going to see a crimp there, and over here, you're going to see a shiny crimp. A bronze crimp cover or a copper or like anything's going to work there. But yeah, that was the little button bracelet, multi-strand. I can't remember what we ended up calling it. We had many names in the beginning. Hearthside button bracelet. And then I think here in this video, we're calling it the multi-strand bracelet tutorial. So if you're watching this later, I have some links to share with you. So if you're not in the live chat, I'm going to drop the link for everybody right now. But if you're not in the live chat, just check the description. That link will be in there too. But here it is for all you guys that are here with me right now. That is the link that will take you to the patterns. Right now, the only PDF there is this one. But very soon, I'm going to be adding this next one. And for the question about pink flowers, here's a pink flower design. So this is the strand that I made. And there's our owl. I'm calling him the pine cone owl because he ended up being so cute with little forget-me-not flowers as the little dangles. So he's going to have eyes. So this version doesn't have his eyes yet, but we're going to stitch a little set of eyes on him. I haven't decided yet if it looks cool or not to actually have it in the 2-drop peyote to add like a black Picasso. But because there's some 3D stuff happening here, the idea I had was just to kind of, there we go. He's going to be winking at you. Maybe. There we go. We showed this yesterday, but everyone said they kind of liked it. So we'll have that one added to the link that I've just shared. And then the other designs I created are here. So we demoed creating this bail in yesterday's unboxing. It's made with the aventurine front drilled pendant. And then there's my little beaded chain that I made. These toggles, guys, are so cute. And I noticed that Sam's has them in silver now as well. So I'm going to need to snag some of those silver ones. Those are very cute. So there's our little strung design. The one thing I'll just point out real quick is the way that I made that bail, it made sense to do 2 different strands. See how they're just beading wired on? And I did something creative where those are crimp covers. And my crimps are hidden just kind of around in there in different spots. So it makes it look even more like a bead. Here at the top is where each of those is terminated. Close-up high-def photos of these are in that link that I sent you. Yeah, Leslie says just add the eyes. And that's what I'm going to do. Just keep it easy, right? And so we're probably not going to do a full tutorial on this one, guys, because it's kind of something that has a very well-known techniques, but I put a high-def photo of it on that page that is linked in case you just want to see the pattern, the copy it. It's really easy. Just get some chain and get any chain you want. It doesn't have to be any special chain. I can tell you the dimensions of this chain if you want me to find it really quick, but it was a stash item. The charms are in your box, our little foxy, all the bellflowers, and it's the other toggle. You get 2 toggles in the box. I use that one here. And then I did kind of like an up-down pattern with the colors. So I went from red to green and then back down to red. And that was kind of how I did that. I used this cool like Dahlia coin. And so it's every 6, you put a charm. Every 6 bellflowers, charm. And you can even just do that with some jump rings. Jump rings are a great way to do something like this. And that's kind of it's one of the things I call the tried and trues, because I think I've probably made 100 bracelets like this. And it's a technique that I've seen it's charm bracelet inspired. And I've seen so many great examples of things that you guys have done with charm bracelet styles that definitely draw some inspiration for that. And then something easy. This is my other pink flower design so far. I still have pink flowers left. Just some beaded chain. So if you just want to get some eye pins and just make yourself a cute little, check glass chain. And then I just dangled that like a charm off one of the sides of our birch beads. We were calling those birch beads yesterday. This one is fun to wear. I put a little chain on the end. And let's see which side goes. that way. I'm really bad at linking bracelets on myself, but I just want to show you it on because it is very cute. This one I've been wearing a lot. You see it? That's just kind of fun, right? Like the way the dangle looks. So something like that. And then last but not least, we made some earrings yesterday during our show, which is some eye pins. Really easy earring. It needs its ear wires still. I'll get those on there before our next show. Oh, thanks, Sandra. So I've been having a really fun time. You guys can probably tell. I'm going to bring up my other camera so I can say hi to you guys one more time. And I got my bright light. So these earrings, the ones I'm wearing, are the ones I was holding up earlier. They're so cool. Here, I'll do one more hold up of those. Again, just eye pin crazy. I went crazy with those. There's a gemstone hidden in there. I think that on the bottom is a head pin. And then that's the eye pin connector. Bracelet. So you really can make so much jewelry. Everything I've shown you so far was a one box. And then if you're interested in how many beads you'd have left after you made all of those, check out yesterday's unboxing. We showed like piece by piece what I had left. And I was like, I really used like almost every bead. So, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not done. I still have a second box to play with. So if you want to snag an extra seed bead tube, you do have enough to make this bracelet, today's bracelet, and the owl pendant. You'll have plenty of seed beads with just those 5.2 grams that you got in the box to make both of these. But if you want to make multiples, or just heads up, I might make more stuff with the seed beads. If you want to grab a tube, they're selling the tubes a la carte on their website. So you can grab like a whole 22 grams of it if you really like it. Oh, thank you so much, Sandra. I'm glad you guys like it. So if you have any questions for me, please reach out. My website is linked in the description. You can reach me there. You can send me an email. That's also linked on my website. And until then, I want to wish you guys happy beading and happy November box beading. And I'll catch you for Silver Silk Sunday tomorrow, 1 o'clock Pacific. I'll be over there with Nile. So if you want to join us, I would love to see you. All right, bye for now. So I'm still there. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys.